Moving on to somewhat more intriguing yet interesting news, we turn to Sacramento, California. Now, if it was Florida, I know for a fact that Big would be sighing too because he lives in Florida. Me, I live in California, and any part of California is like, ugh, cringeworthy. And this article was shared with me to Sheena because she believes that this be interesting to share with because this is somewhat game related because this guy was one of the main people who wanted to put a ban on video games. Let's start digging into it and make it really, really quick. California Senator Yee indicted on gun corruption charges. And this was in Sacramento. A prominent Democratic California state senator and gun control advocate was indicted by a San Francisco grand jury on charges of corruption and conspiracy to traffic in firearms, according to court documents released on Friday. The indictment adds to the troubles facing State Senator Leland Yee, who was arrested last week and criminally charged along with two other dozens in the same case. He has since been suspended with pay. E65 is the third California state senator to face criminal charges this year in separate cases that have caused Democrats a cherished two-thirds legislative majority in an election year and prompted them to cancel a major fundraiser plan for this weekend. Yes, it's about politics. I can really care less for politics. Senate Democrat leader Darrell Steinberg, who has said that the charges against Yee sickened him, on Friday renewed calls for the senator to resign. Senator Steinberg renews his demand that Senator Yee resign and resign now, spokesman Rhys Williams said in an email to Reuters. The party, which dominates both houses of the legislature and holds all statewide offices, effectively lost its two-thirds majority in the Senate last month. Why am I still reading this? Senators Ron Calderon and Roderick Wright were placed on leave of absence after Calderon was indicted on corruption charges and Wright was convicted of lying about living in a district he sought to represent. Both were later suspended with pay along with Yee. The people of California deserve elected officials who embody the highest levels of integrity. Where the fuck are those? Where the fuck are they? Yes. Who the fuck are those and where the fuck are they? That's a better question. I am still waiting for an answer. Said Republican Senate leader Bob Huff, who pushed for suspending the three senators. It is very troublesome that we have three separate senators in 1 year convicted or charged with various felonies, and canceling a glittering fundraiser that was stated to begin on Friday at the picturesque Torrey Pines golf course overlooking the Pacific Ocean near San Diego. Democrats acknowledge extraordinary breaches of the public trust in these three cases. These are unprecedented times, and they demand that we take a step back and take stock of how we all do the people's business and balance it against the demands of running for office. Steinberg and lawmaker Kevin DeLeon said in a joint statement on Tuesday. Cash and weapons. In a 31-page indictment that sharpens but does not materially change the allegations against Yee. He is charged with 6 counts of corruption, 1 count of conspiracy to traffic in firearms. Last week, his lawyer said he pled not guilty, but yesterday he hired a new attorney who did not respond to requests for comment on Friday. Among the allegations contained in the indictment is that the one-time San Francisco mayoral candidate accepted cash from an undercover FBI agent seeking to purchase illegal weapons. Okay, what does that have to do with? Never mind. The indictment says he is paying consultant. Yeah, you can tell. You can tell I'm just kind of reading it, and all of a sudden, bzz, my energy is dropping. Sought to enrich themselves and pay out debt from his failed mayoral campaign by bribes, both in cash and by check, from undercover FBI agents. In one instance, he wrote a letter on behalf of a technology company that an undercover FBI agent claimed to represent. In another, he helped an undercover FBI agent who said he was working to legalize marijuana in the state, the indictment says. In the indictment, the two men are also accused of offering to help another undercover FBI agent to obtain illegal guns. He was arrested along with more than 24 others last week in a broad sweep of suspected organized crime and corruption activity in San Francisco. This may happen in San Francisco, but I'm from Los Angeles. Something always goes down in San Francisco, okay? You ever seen the old show, The Streets of San Francisco? Among those charged in the indictment is Raymond Shrimp Boy Chow, a Chinatown figure who is accused of money laundering and conspiracy. An indictment is likely to make it more difficult for Yee's attorney to argue that the charges should be dismissed because the process for fighting an indictment is different than the process for fighting a simple criminal charge. He is scheduled to appear in San Francisco court next week to arrange on the charges. According to the court documents, each of the charges against him carries a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. According to a press release issued Friday by the U.S. Attorney of the Northern District of California, whose office will be prosecuting the case. Honestly, to be quite honest with all this, after everything that has been going on in California, honestly, I'd rather deal with an earthquake. But then again, I think we've dealt with enough earthquakes for one whole lifetime. We've dealt with plenty. And all I'd say is, yeah, you're corrupted. You deserve to go to jail. You've been doing all this undercover shit for a long ass time. Hope you rot in there. Oh, and don't forget to drop the soap. Yeah. But again, I'd say I don't really like reading about politics. Politics are beneath me. I'm a gamer. I'm not supposed to actually give a damn about politics. And then again, video games are dealing with video games and and the masses of video games. It kind of falls in the same with this story I'm reading. Because we got so many factions, these so-called factions. And you know, there's some people out there on YouTube that are just as corrupt. I'm not going to name names. They're just as corrupt as the people who aren't doing this for money. You know, what I'm doing, on my channel, it's not for money. I'm not saying it's bad, but there's, some good people out there that do it for money because they feel they could get something out of it, which is good. And I see it as this. If you can actually use what you have to help better mankind in some way, then you're doing a good job. However, if you're doing it to somehow corrupt the system even more, then you're doing it wrong. And that's all I have to say about that. Too many. I mean, I've seen too much corruption go on as is. And then again, that's for another time. So, for that, that's been a look in the news. I will see you for something less than depressing. Anyway, thought I'd share this with you guys. You be the judge. If you want to read about this, I will share the link. Especially the last one. I will also share the link if you want to share it. Be my guest. I don't mind. But, yeah. I'll see you with something possibly less depressing than what I just read.